This episode of Lore Drop is sponsored by Chad and Rachel Wolf. Thanks for listening from Kansas City, Mom and Dad.
And specifically, Andrew is there with his buddies, Mason, Screech, and Evan.
Screech, you say. Sorry.
Yeah. That audition
Your
was
audition
so
for
funny.
Screech was wild.
Sorry to get off topic there.
You should do an insert of his audition
Oh,
right
right.
here. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Lore Drop, a reinvent podcast. Woo. A podcast. I really need to change the thing in my notes. For some reason, my notes are Lore Drop, a reinvent podcast.
That's really funny.
But, you know, it's fine. Everything's fine.
It's giving campfire song.
That'll be our trio.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Normax SpongeBob anime.
I'm Abby. I'm the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben. I'm the creative and artistic director.
And we are our trio third-party member today is...
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt, a.k.a. Prairie Dog, from Mortal Hunters. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah. Matt, you're an actor in ye old Lubbock.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how we met you. Was
Yeah,
doing
literally.
Mortal Hunters. Our friend Kelton mentioned that he was doing a film project that had fights in it, and my little head perked up, a la a prairie dog, and was like, "You like fights?"
Said you guys will literally make the worst fights ever if I don't hop on this project. So, and we were like, "Yes, please hop on this project."
I didn't say it out loud. But so we worked together on Mortal Hunter Season 1, and now Matt is doing the voice for Maurice in Cataclysm Season 1, which is really cool. And I think it's fun on a nostalgia level that one of the first characters that you wrote, if not the first character.
Yes, Maurice is the first one.
So Maurice is the first reinvent character. One of our really good friends is doing the voice of him.
Heck yeah, man! I'm so honored, dude. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. I think it was when we were recording the first episode, and you were like, "Oh, Andrew is one of the first characters." I was like, "He sure wasn't." Believe it or not, he really wasn't. He was definitely. I was saying, he's definitely top 10, but not top 5. He's in the back half of the top 10. Yeah.
But Maurice's first one, he's gone through a couple of spelling changes.
Yeah.
But he's been around the longest, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. We had you read him a couple times for our table reads.
Yeah.
I remember thinking at the table, being like, we should get Matt. We should get Matt to read these words.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's really cool. Before we dive into the lore drop, what anime trio are we today? SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward, not anime, but it might be the vibes.
I think it might just be recency bias because we were just talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, but I think, and I don't know which trio of characters it would be though, because there's so many trios in that show.
Oh, there's so many good trios, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see any one of us being Toto and
no, yeah, exactly.
My brother.
Oh,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll say our anime trio would have been in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
We are the whole of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, exactly. The whole.
What an unfortunate anime to be.
But
it's cool.
Yeah.
Season 3 comes out later soon, bro.
I'm so excited and scared and terrified.
Literally.
All right, Benjamin.
Woo.
Tell us about Maurice.
Yeah. So, Maurice Williams is a core member of the Dustria City Police Department, and specifically their superpowered investigations unit is what he is a member of in there. And so, notable things about Maurice, he has the Amber Power Ring, which is the ring that grants him pyrokinetic abilities. And so the way that manifests for Maurice is that his internal body temperature runs higher than the average human being's does. And on top of that, he can generate flames from his body and can also control any kind of flame with his mind. But yeah, and that is at least the early version of his powers, and that's how they work. Some notable allies for Maurice are Elizabeth Walters, Alexander Wright, and Severica Agriver. And some notable adversaries are Andrew Blood, Mason Stone, and Ben Marshall. All of which are from Gemstone Industries. Number one ops right there. Right. And especially those other allies. He does go on. Elizabeth Walters does become a big like romantic interest for Maurice. They don't ever get married, but they do have a child way down the line.
Scandy.
And then Severica becomes a good like, I wouldn't call them like rival characters, but they are those sort of like kindred spirit characters of like there's a lot of similarities between them. And there is a point later on in their stories where like Maurice sort of passes on. It's like, Severica, you're the one who's more capable of beating Andrew one day than I will be.
They're kind of like those anime rivals. Like they're always like kind of chasing each other.
It's like the Goku and Vegeta ones, except like they don't have like the animosity between the two of them. But there's definitely the point where like Maurice is like, oh no, she is the stronger one of the two of us.
Gotcha, yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about the fact that you started writing him in middle school?
No. Yeah, Maurice is the first reinvented character. It was back in 8th grade. And it's honestly a kind of a goofy inspiration, but the early inspiration was from the Rooster Teeth original animated series Ruby. Was one of the early inspirations for
That's crazy.
The Dustria City storyline.
I know that you've told me that before,
Yeah.
but it's such a delight to hear it again.
In the idea that, like, honestly, it was one of those things that I watched that show. I was like, I like the vibes of this, and I want to make something that has not. Early Dustria City stuff did not have very similar vibes to Ruby, but it was sort of that instance of like, oh, all these characters with unique powers was the thing that really drew me to it. And so I started writing in like a novel kind of format of like, okay, let me just write down this story of this guy who gets this ring that gives him fire powers and like discovers it in this weird way and then finds himself becoming not really a superhero, but because I would say that Dustria City is less of a superhero type thing, but a super powered story of vibes. Dustria City, in terms of reinvent things, is definitely one of the more gritty settings that people can find themselves in. And so he is character numero uno. I do think if I had to like trace down the ones that follow up after that, they are Cole Johnson, Richard Briggs, Elizabeth Walters, and Alexander Wright. Those are the first 5 characters. And then after that, it kind of becomes a blur of who shows up when.
Totally.
But yeah, so as far as his like first appearance in like fully canon reinvent storytelling, because fun fact, those early stories did not really all that canon anymore. Those were things that I would love to stay buried under a heap, put them. Don't put them in my pharaoh's tomb. Burn them on the altar.
But if we get to 1,000 followers on this podcast, I want to do a retrospective on your hidden drafts.
You're free to want that.
You can want it. It's not going to guarantee it's going to happen.
Guys, demand the sacred text be revealed.
Text is crazy. But so yeah, Maurice's first proper appearance was with the Cataclysm tabletop campaign, which was the first like D&D campaign that I ran in the reinvent world, which was my freshman year of college in 2016. He showed up in the second or third session of that one, and that was after the party had encountered Andrew Blood and some other people in the DCPD. They had been taken into custody just for like questioning, and Maurice is there, the one who was sent in to actually take their statements and questions. And so that is where he sort of like his introduction lies, and then he becomes more well known to the party as they proceed through the Cataclysm story. But yeah, and so moving on with his like involvement in the Cataclysm story and on the arcs there. So in that, I call it the Welcome to Dustria City arc, which is, and this is also fair warning, spoilers for the entirety of Cataclysm, really. But we call it the Welcome to Dustria City arc, which is like the season 1 storyline of Cataclysm, which is that Maurice leads the party on an investigation to the Dustria City Central Museum, where they are then ambushed by a team from the Bandits, which is a criminal organization in Dustria City. The group that Maurice leads here is the party. Anytime we say the party, we are referencing the characters of Severica, Navita, and Reaper, and so that is the trio that is in the party at this point. Other characters that are present for this are Elizabeth, Neil Sanders, and Adam Dahl are also here as well. And Mike is also here, Mike Walsh. And so he goes into the museum, and he specifically is going with Reaper is who he pairs off with at the start. And they end up meeting Wilhelm, and they fight, and Reaper ambushes Maurice and knocks him out because Reaper really wants to fight Wilhelm, like full on. And Reaper wants to kill people, and Maurice says, no, we don't do that. We have to follow the rules and abide by the law. But then so after that, Maurice reappears at the end of the arc when the party has to sort of choose their alliance, their allegiance. They are given the choice to go with Gemstone, with the Bandits, with the Bastions, or with the DCPD, and Maurice is there leading the team from the DCPD alongside Thomas Jones, and Neil is also back for this one as well. And Adam's here. And so this is the point where the party actually splits up. Severica and Navita decide to go and join the DCPD, and Reaper goes off to join the Bandits. And so after that, Maurice and co are on their way out to get away from this conflict when they are met with Courtspot Iota. And that is when they have this big confrontation, and Maurice is one of the people who helps in destroying Courtspot Iota. And so that is the Welcome to Dustria City stuff. And after that, there's a little bit of like in-between stuff in between, but I'm really just going to hit on all of the major arcs right now. But after this, we hit the Council of Three arc. There's an event where there's an assassination attempt that happens. 2 of the 3 members of the Council of Three are killed, and the third one, Roy Smith, is kidnapped. And so what happens is that the Bastions approach the DCPD and offer some of their leads and offer their assistance in recovering Roy Smith before Gemstone Industries can. And so Maurice specifically teams up with the Bastions to follow their lead on where Roy is, and that brings them to an encounter with Andrew Blood. And in this fight, Andrew is also paired up with a couple of other court spots, and Maurice ends up fighting Andrew while the Bastions fight the court spots, and Maurice loses this fight, and he is saved by the Bastions afterwards. And so the next big thing for Maurice...
Getting prairie dog flashbacks.
PTSD, man. I was like, great, I'm getting my butt whooped again.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll get better.
Yeah. The next one is honestly a pretty big W for Maurice. Maurice is the first character as well to experience a Power Ring awakening, which is this instance with the Power Rings where there's basically a second layer of powers that gets triggered, sort of like in like X-Men, where like they can have like an advanced mutation that pops up under like severe stress. And so what happens is that Maurice goes with the party, who at this point consists of Severica, Navita, and Severica's sister, Saoirse. Maurice teams up with the party to investigate a missing persons case, and this missing person is actually one of Maurice's childhood friends. And they find out that his friend was taken by Andrew. And specifically, Andrew is there with his buddies, Mason, Screech, and Evan.
Screech, you say? Sorry.
Yeah. That audition
Your
was
audition
so
for
funny.
Screech was wild.
Sorry to get off topic there.
You should do an insert of his audition
Oh,
right
right.
here.
But so in this, they find out that Andrew did this specifically to antagonize Maurice.
Man, what a jerk.
Yeah, Andrew is a jerk. And so in this, they basically are like, through a series of events, get Maurice to just go absolutely like crazy. Any restraint is just absolutely thrown by the wayside, and Maurice sort of explodes in this like fiery blaze that overtakes his whole body. And from this, an extra thing of background on Maurice is that Maurice used to be an artist. He like did all sorts of like paintings and drawings and stuff, and so that was big on him. That is a connection he had with this childhood friend. This friend went on to become an art teacher, and Maurice went on a different path and everything.
Poor art teacher getting
Yeah.
kidnapped by this awful
Yes.
person.
And so what happens is that Maurice's flames, which prior to this were that typical like orangish red color, Maurice's flames start going multicolor. They're getting all these different colors and everything. And so Maurice now gains the ability to change the colors of his flames, which give him extra powers based off of what the color is. And so the new powers that he gets, he can turn them blue, which makes it so that he can turn his flames into solid objects now. And
More projectile damage.
He can turn them gold, which gives him the ability to fly, sort of like Iroh from Legend of Korra, that whole like fire from his feet thing. Green flames, which increase his speed, basically gives him like not like super speed, but a lot faster. And then there's also white flames, which heighten his physical abilities and durability. And so he has this new array of powers that he can use, and he uses these to basically, he gets a massive L. The rest of the party has to go fight a court spot outside, and Maurice basically 1v4s Andrew's squad.
Oh my gosh.
With this new array of powers.
Yeah.
And so he gets his comeuppance.
He gets a massive
He gets his
W.
payback on
Oh
with
man,
that one.
heck yeah, dude. 1v4, let's go.
And so the cost is that with these whole things, he's basically out for the count for like a week, because
sense,
those is a major power spike for him. And so the next big thing that happens is in the Order of the Unbound arc. There's a whole like order of monks that are attacking specific people in the DCPD as a way to get back at Chief Briggs. And one of the people they target is Maurice. And so Maurice, while he is enjoying a night off at the bar, and sort of like, this is one of the early seeds of Maurice getting this like retrospective arc of really like dealing with his own emotions and like the things that are going on around him, because it's a lot of like really messed up stuff that is happening, and really coming to terms with like, is this the life I want to be in right now? And so he is ambushed at a bar filled with innocent civilians by one of these monks who also has fire abilities.
Oh my
And so it's a fire versus fire fight in the middle of a bar, which is called the Redwood Pub. And so it's entirely like wood and everything.
Oh,
And
no.
He's
A lot of fuel in there.
he's in this fight defending civilians, trying to get them to safety while also fending off this martial artist. And he does end up winning this fight. But it goes on, and that's really one of the main things that he's involved in this arc. After that, we get to the Tournament of Champions arc. And this is one where there's a pantheon of gods that one of them, his name is Caius, has really decided to take a liking to Dustria City in general. And so Maurice is chosen as one of Caius's 40 champions. And so he competes in the Tournament of Champions, specifically in the Tournament of the Arts. The thing is that since joining the DCPD, Maurice has kind of like left that by the wayside, hasn't really like engaged with that side of his personality, that side of his life as much. And so he does make it to the quarterfinals of this, and it's basically this tournament. The Tournament of Champions is broken up into like combat, intelligence, and the arts. And so he is sent off into the arts one, and so this one is like, just make something and like see, and it is judged by the gods here, and they pass people on. It's like, okay, cool, now make something new with this prompt or whatever. So Maurice makes it to the quarterfinals of this tournament, but he does not make it any further than that, and he is given the feedback by Caius that he is told, you're holding yourself back in several ways, in many ways, not just in your art and everything, and that's what is keeping you from being the best version of yourself here. And so that leaves something with Maurice to really ponder for a long time after that.
Yeah.
And so the next thing, which is the big like final big arc for the Dustria City and Cataclysm as a whole, is the Emerald Conspiracy. Maurice is sent with the party, which at this point the party consists of Severica and Navita still. But at this point it now has Agatha, which is a completely other character as well. And so they are sent to investigate an entire precinct of the DCPD has disappeared. Precinct 10. They've all gone absolutely AWOL, radio silent. No one knows what happened to them. So they go to investigate the precinct and find it is completely abandoned, and there's a giant hole in the wall. And they said, that's really weird. They go in here and they find on the computers in here that there was an email that was sent out to everyone in this precinct that just says, initiate the Emerald Protocol. And there is all sorts of bloodstains all over the place. and even the captain of this precinct and this district of Dustria City, Gregory Porter, is also missing. And they find in his office there's a little like hidden bunker underneath of his office. That there is a camera in there with a recorded message from him that just says, "If anyone finds this, I have initiated the stand." Is what the message says. And Maurice and the party have no idea what this is talking about, but decide to bring this back with him. On their way out, they encounter one of the court spots, which at this point, the court spots have been given by Gemstone Industries to the DCPD as a supplementary force. So the court spots are actively working with the DCPD at this point. And now they fight Courtspot Tau. And so this is when Courtspot Tau is able to transform into, like, is like a transformer, like is able to turn into like animals, robot animals.
It's Power Rangers.
Yeah. It's a rough fight, but they make it out. And when they get back, Maurice is placed in charge of the task force that is for investigating what the Emerald Protocol is. And so with this, there's a whole other series of events, but this leads up into a final confrontation at the 17th Precinct between Maurice and his task force, and then Andrew brings the team from Gemstone Industries here. In this big final conflict that's happening here, all these like Power Ring users all going at it. There's a moment where Maurice and Andrew find themselves. Andrew sort of grabs Maurice and teleports them outside of the building, and they sit on a park bench out front and just have like a chat, like a heart-to-heart, like put it all out there on the table. They instead of like fighting with their fists and everything, and they like address each other as people. And after doing so, Maurice is like, "You don't have to be this way." And Andrew says, "No, I really do." And Andrew teleports himself back inside the building, leaving Maurice outside. And when Maurice comes back inside, he sees that Screech is dead, and that everyone is really distraught. And Andrew throws a ring at Sarah Johnson, and then most of the Gemstone team is teleported away, and Andrew is the only one left behind. So Andrew Blood is finally, after 4 years of trying to chase him down, is finally brought into custody. But the 17th Precinct is like in shambles. Like half of the building is destroyed because of the fight that was happening in here. And as they're finally about to get a confession out of him about what the Emerald Protocol is, everyone's phones go off. And it is a text message that says, "Initiate the Emerald Protocol." And so then at this point, roughly half of the police officers in the building pull out their guns and start firing on the other half.
Oh my gosh.
And so with that, Andrew then teleports himself out of the building with his shadow powers, and Maurice is left with the party to fight their way out of this building, fighting their comrades. And he gets a call from Chief Briggs that says, "Meet at this rendezvous point in the forest on the outskirts of the city." I'll explain more when we get there. And so Maurice and the party go and meet up with Briggs and the rest of their friends. It basically turns out it's like a Winter Soldier type thing, or where it's like, oh, turns out Hydra infected Shield. Of like half of the DCPD was secretly working for Gemstone Industries, and so the other half is now on the run. And they learned that Chief Briggs and Captain Porter came up with this plan for something like this back in like the 90s. They said, if something catastrophic happens, we need a fallback plan. And so this is the fallback. They call it the Stand, and it is basically everyone that they can trust to still be on the side of good. And that is the end of Cataclysm, is that the heroes lose.
Damn.
That they are still around and they are still there to keep fighting afterwards, but they are...
But they are run off.
Yeah, they are run off. They are the guerrilla force. They are the underdogs now.
Yeah.
The DCPD is no more at this point. And so the next time we see Maurice is in the Dynamite campaign, the second campaign that was run in Reinvent. This campaign takes place because that Cataclysm ends in the year 2018. And Dynamite starts in the year 2025.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we see Maurice again 7 years later in the city of Juarez, Mexico.
Hey.
And what happens is that the party at this point, which consists of Severica, is here again as a holdover from Cataclysm, but it now consists of Aurora Remington, Overkill, and Adriana Collarbone. They arrive in the city with some other NPCs. And the thing about Juarez in the Reinvent universe is that it's sort of like it's the purge happens here.
Oh,
One night a year, basically in Juarez, all the gangs basically get free roam, open warfare on each other. Whoever's left standing at the end, if you've got the biggest group left, you're in charge of the city for the next year.
well, damn.
For the past number of years, the person left in charge has been a man named the Gov, who has just this sort of like organized crime like approach to this whole thing. And so what happens is that Severica and along with Adriana and Aurora stumble upon a group called the Skull Mercenaries, and they find their way here because they are told to go look for a man named Maverick. And they go here and they find Maverick in this one district, and they come to find out that Maverick is Maurice.
Oh, yeah.
and this is one you might be wondering, why is Severica here and why is Maurice here? In the interim, there was an event in a confrontation between the Stand and a group from Gemstone Industries, in which Maurice and Severica went to go simultaneously try and attack Andrew Blood, and that a portal was opened up by Sarah Johnson, teleporting them off to a random location. And so they were both sent out into the wild, far away from Dustria City, and everyone presumed that they were both dead. And so they have both reunited here in Juarez, and Maurice had been helping the Skull Mercenaries so he could contribute to a group like this still, and in hopes of helping them so that they could also help him get back to Dustria City one day. So he reunites here with Severica, and they fight off this assassin hired by the Gov, who was basically like a violin playing bard that was using this weird twisted magic. And after that, he helps the party fight off the Gov, and the Skull Mercenaries end up at the end of the night being the ones who win this competition. And so General Skull, the leader of the Skull Mercenaries, basically abolishes the competition. He said, "This is not happening anymore. No more of this."
Not sustainable.
They all spend the next 6 months rebuilding the infrastructure of Juarez and everything. And then after this, the General Skull takes Maurice and Severica back to Dustria City to reunite with the Stand. Unfortunately, not long after this, an alien invasion happens on Earth. And so they can't really restart the fight against Gemstone just yet because aliens are here.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of that first.
And so the Stand becomes part of this group. There's a big meeting called between all of like the hero groups on Earth in the city of Pamiut, Greenland. And so all these groups and everything, the Order of Heroes, the Stand, are brought here and basically forming this like Earth defense force of some kind that is going to try and like take back Earth from these aliens that are invading. And so the next time that we see Maurice in Dynamite is in the final arc of Dynamite, when everyone is sort of coming back and all uniting against the Emperor now that he has shown up. And Maurice teams up in the 8 Days War. He combines his powers with Annie Den, Neil Sanders, and Yubina Kaze. They have like the 4 elements between the 4 of them, and they combine their powers to make this giant elemental like anime nuke to destroy one of the alien warships as it's coming through the space portal. And that's one of his big last big contributions that is seen there. He does the Stand does go back and returns to Dustria City, and they are eventually successful in ousting Gemstone Industries, but those details I will keep a secret for a while. I'll tell Matt about it when we're not recording. But
Hey, let's go.
Because it is pretty crazy stuff.
It has been fun looking back at material that we had for not only the Dynamite campaign, but also Cataclysm, which I wasn't even at Missouri Western when you guys were playing
When we started
started it. But the just looking back at like how the stories have evolved, and you and I talking about these characters, we've realized that Maurice has a very similar trajectory that Andrew has.
Mm-hmm.
As our episode about Andrew, we'll talk about his whole thing. The majority of his life, he is a bad guy, but he does have a redemption arc. But I didn't know if you wanted to share a little bit about the similarities we've been seeing with Maurice and Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things of like Maurice's character is like one of his big character arcs is like acknowledging who he actually is, right? Because there's this whole search, like getting his power ring is something that like dramatically and suddenly changes the course of his life in a way that he wasn't anticipating or really prepared for. So it's one of those that like with Maurice's background, like his parents are both out of the picture by the time he gets his ring. It's one of those, but he is randomly chosen to visit Gemstone Industries, and then he is just given one of the power rings here. And so the power suddenly manifests, and then in a whirlwind, he is brought into this life of like superpowers and law enforcement and everything. And is one that he is one of the first ones that his powers manifest. And so when Chief Briggs finds him, he's like, "Hey, we need you with us." And so he is just quickly brought onto the police force after that, and is like, "Okay, cool." Pretty much from there, Maurice goes on like, "Okay, I am told to go here, told to do this, that, and the other." Consistently over and over again, and doesn't really have time to think introspectively very much until it starts affecting him in all these other ways. And so that is one of the big things that mirrors Andrew, but they're also foils in that way, because where Andrew as well was randomly chosen for his powering, in that same instance, it was one that Andrew actively made the choice to go down that path, whereas Maurice was not given the choice and said, "Hey, we need you," and was sort of like pressured into it. And so that is one that like near the end, that is also leads towards like Maurice then being like, "Well, I don't think I ever actually wanted this." And I don't think it's one of those of like, I have this conversation with my students sometimes of like, there are some subjects that you are going to be good at, but you still don't like them anyway. And that's the difference of like, when it comes to like what you want to do, figure out what you're good at and what you like doing. Because you do have things that you are good at that you hate doing. I unfortunately am pretty okay at math, but it's something that I hate doing. And so that's one of those things of like, yeah, Maurice is a good detective, is a good fighter, and all these things, but it's not who he is. And when he finally like realizes that and addresses that part of himself, it still takes a while before he's able to actually leave it behind. And so that's one of that's the thing with Industrious City, is like all of those characters in Industrious City have very tragic flaws about them. It's a very like, and I think that's just also indicative of where I was when I started doing Industrious City stuff, of just like, I don't know, those were the stories that spoke to me at the time. And so that was reflected in what I was writing. And I think that is key and important and integral to Industrious City and Cataclysm as a whole, is that it goes back and forth, the whole story of Cataclysm, between it's a constant tug of war between the forces of good and evil the whole time over who's actually got the upper hand, right up until the very end, because even the ending of Industrious City is a very Pyrrhic victory for like everyone involved. I don't know if that answered the question, but
No, I think it did. So yeah, that's who you're playing, Matt.
Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting, dude. There's a lot there to munch on.
Yeah.
As an actor. I'm really excited. I remember like reading him for the first time. I was like, this guy, yeah. Like, I don't know why. Like reading his first line, I was like, yeah. You seem like a pretty like, I don't know, just there's a lot more to him, and I feel like that's what's really cool about characters that are in like a police department kind of thing. It's like they have to be so just like mission focused, but it's like you can tell there's so much of them that they hold themselves back, that they have to, I don't know, almost neglect in order to complete the mission, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really cool. I was like, it was really hard, Ben. Every time I was like, I'm going to ask a question about this, you like would explain. I was like, oh, okay, well, shit. I was like, well, he explained that. I don't know how to ask a question right now.
Well, and you've read you've read all of season 1 of Cataclysm, just because we in Lubbock, we have a writer's room that we get together and share scripts and sometimes write silly scripts together. But since reading those initial scripts, and then like now the fact that you've been cast as this character, I don't know, does anything like within the lore drop maybe like unlock some things as an actor? I know like sometimes I'm like, oh, having like backstory from either the playwright or the screenwriter or whatever informs my decision making when I'm acting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think him being an artist is really cool, especially because it's like a side that he's, neglected for so long in his life. Because I don't know, that's just so relatable whenever you're adulting, I guess.
Yeah.
Working that 9 to 5, it's like it forces you to neglect your true passions, neglect things that have brought you peace and happiness and whatnot. So that's really exciting, because like when I first read him, I don't know what you guys had planned for the character. When Abby was like, Matt might not be a terrible Maurice, I was like, oh gosh, please let me do it. But like I didn't know if he was just gonna be our, handy dandy police, officer guy, or if he's. But no, dude, from the lore drop, I was like, dude, there's so much to this character, and like talking about. And man, can I just say, like, I loved the talking about his limits and stuff, like when he fully like broke him, and then how it like puts him out of commission for a week. I was like, oh, that's so true though. It's like it's called a limit for a reason, It's like push yourself to the brink. You don't just take a nap and you're like, all right, I'm ready for round 2. It's like you're dead, man. There's this.
We've been watching a lot of Demon Slayer recently, and it's like every time Tanjiro like
every arc
gets hit, he's like, "Oh, I feel good." Oh,
he's like, and now I have to spend 2 to 3 months recovering.
My body is broken. No.
Oh, I've been in a coma for 2 weeks. Crazy,
dude. And there's this thing called yoke flu in the world of like strongman and powerlifting. It's like when you fully tax your central nervous system, you just get sick. Yeah. It's like your body's like, yes, I was literally fighting to survive there, and it's like, come on, we're just working out. It's like, no.
You weren't just working out.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. And that's what gets me, the emotional part. Whenever you're sick, it's like,
no. You just like feel like it'll never end.
Yeah,
that's
literally.
me with this injury right now.
No,
I'm like, this is never gonna end.
Well, I think one of the other things about that is that I've always been fascinated. One of my favorite things with comic books is the different like levels of power. I'm not a big fan of like power scaling in general, but I like the idea of like, I think it was one of the Marvel mobile games broke down the characters into like basically tiers of like where they operate. They had like street level, world, global, and like cosmic.
Yeah.
And I really like that system of like, oh no, this is like where they operate. And like Maurice starts out as a very street level character. Like Cataclysm is a street level story. It's very like it's contained entirely within Industrial City. There's a few times when they go outside, and the Tournament of Champions is a huge like thing that is like, whoa, all of them are out of their element here. And that like shows them the scope of the world around them, because they're exposed to all these other crazy people from around the world. Especially with like when Maurice's ring awakens, like most of the ring awakenings, like they're all intentionally designed to like exponentially increase the power level of these characters and to the point of like whatever they need their powers to be. And so that is one that like Maurice is still like at that point is like at that like borderline between like the more powerful street level and then the lower end of like the global level characters. And that's sort of like where we find him again in Dynamite is like, okay, cool. Now he is able to operate with all these other more powerful people, but he's still like that growth is something that like again, it's one of those is like I am doing this because I need to, not because I want to.
Literally.
And so it's the reluctant hero is sort of like the archetype that he finds himself in.
I really like that. I like characters that struggle with that sense of duty and sorry, but also like you said, it's just like he doesn't want to do this. But it's he's good at it, so it's like, wow, come on, man, please.
It's like all the tall kids who are like, you're tall, you play basketball, right?
No, actually, I really want to be a ballet dancer. Well, you're playing basketball, buddy. No, and dude, I agree with the like power scaling stuff. Like as much as like I love Dragon Ball Z, it does suck watching characters that you grow up with and love just fall to the wayside because of weird power scaling. It's like you just know it's just going to be Goku at the end. It's like,
exactly.
I love characters I love stories, I guess I should say, where matchups are interesting because styles and different powers. Cause like, when it's all just, we're strong, let's punch each other. And that's not like a dig at Dragon Ball. It's just a lot of other stories that I've seen where it's just like, I don't know, you have your main guy and then your main villain of the arc, and that's about it. Everyone else is just, cannon fodder, and it's like, dang it, man. Like I like watching characters that you don't expect to see, actually put up a good fight because stylistically it is that villain's big like kryptonite, it's like their Achilles heel. They're like, haha, I am super powerful. I'm not that powerful, but I'm hella fast, so good luck trying to hit me. And it's like, well, what do I do now?
No, exactly. Yeah, and that's always the fun thing. And I'm someone who falls into the like, and this is another anime thing where like the character's abilities and powers are an extension of their personality and them as a character, and is like serves as like a metaphor in that way. And so that's again, I full-heartedly agree with that. Of like, the thing that is interesting is how the characters interact and how
Mm-hmm.
and that's something is and I think is true in like stage combat stuff too, of like anytime in any story really, that like when it comes to a fight is because the words can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so that's like that is
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, and it's same thing for like there's a lot of things in different art forms that are like that. Like so like with musicals,
Mm-hmm.
good musicals, people start singing because like the words aren't enough.
Right.
And I think Big Fish the musical is a really good example of that. That like the emotions that they're trying to convey, like it is not enough just to say the words there. The music like really amplifies it, and we as human beings we're very emotional, and like music can get us. Like I mean I remember I was watching K-pop Demon Hunters for the first time in Chicago O'Hare during a layover, and I was sitting on the floor with my Chinese food, and I had my iPad on the seat, and I'm crying in the first like 5 minutes of it because the music slaps so much.
man,
but I
it's
was
so
just
good.
like, oh, I feel so powerful, and like how the certain forms of art like make us feel more and like really connect with that. And I think that that's really cool. But yes, that's why my friend Justin and I are very anti words during fights because it's like if you start throwing punches, you're not talking anymore. You talk with your fists until someone stops. But yeah, it's fun.
Unless you're Habib Nurmagomedov and you just smashing a guy and be like, let's talk now, huh? You want to talk trash now? Just punch him in the face.
yeah.
In a couple weeks, we're going to be doing a time capsule episode about What If, which was the first stage show that we did in as a reInvent production that does take place in Industria City. And I kind of wanted to ask a clarifying question for me, especially since I'm I'm revising that script right now. There's 2 points in that script. One where Daphne is telling Percy that there used to be heroes in the city, but they all are gone. And then there's a point where Andrew Blood, on the brink of his redemption arc starting, tells a very distraught, broken Percy, I've fought heroes before, and looking at you right now, I know that you're one of them. Like, whatever that awesome line was. So, just a clarifying question, like, were those heroes that they were referencing, like, The Stand, or was that talking about, like, the Bastions? Like, was Maurice one of those people that, like, when Andrew's, like, saying that to Percy, is Maurice one of the people that he's thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I would say that's probably the first person that comes to his mind.
Oh,
like that's
love you too, buddy.
yeah, but it's like, and that was something like from the inception of Andrew as a character, and that was like, I need someone to be the antithesis to Maurice.
Yeah,
these are like not necessarily a Batman Joker, but these are two characters who are always going to be in conflict with each other.
Yeah.
And that was one that I'm like, yeah, that's, and as much as Severica wants to think that she's Andrew's arch nemesis, she's not. And that's like Maurice's.
This is a trick shot in Ironside
no,
situation.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, and she has the ability to be, but Maurice is the one who is much more connected to Andrew.
Yeah.
And so those lines are absolutely talking about like the Bastions and like the people from the DCPD who have powers and like their power rings and everything, because they do become very high profile people in the city. And then as well, the short stint that the Stand has in Industria City before they are kicked out, they are ran out really. But yeah, I would say especially in that moment for Andrew, Maurice is the one who like comes to mind. And I think that's also like part of it of why that's something Andrew sort of like knows that about Industria City, of like, no, this is not a place for like people who are like, I think Andrew in a way sees Percy as too good for Industria City. He's like, no, you narratively and like and in a world level, you don't belong here for your own good. And that's like one of the big factors, and at least in the end of What If, of being like, all right, cool, you got to go now. Because what I'm going to do to this city, you shouldn't be here for it.
I mean, because Andrew's and this is dipping into Andrew stuff, is like the goal is to burn Industrial City to the ground.
Yeah.
Basically.
His goal is the destruction of Industrial City.
What? It's like, what did we ever do to you, man? We're just
Tune into the Andrew episode to find out.
yeah, right. No, that one guy like running his
that's
hot
next
dog
week.
stand,
Yeah.
like, why? What did I do, you bastard? No, and I like when you talk about like the arch nemesis, because I feel like a good arch nemesis goes deeper than just like, again, strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's personality. It's I don't know, like. And I don't like the fact that they do parallel each other with like their duty and stuff, and like even their powers. Like one brings light, one brings darkness. It's like it's really cool. It's like, what do you know? Of course it's gonna be Maurice. What are you talking about? Like, look at all the parallels and look at all that. It's like, it's so good. You can just.
Well, and it's we just finished My Hero Academia, so it's fresh in mind.
No spoilers, please.
We're doing a batch recording right now of these episodes before Ben goes back to school. But it's interesting to think about that, like if Andrew and Maurice were, if they had grown up in a different city, that I think their personalities, because they are definitely not a Batman and Joker like personality wise, like these are two dudes that probably could have been friends. And I'm like thinking about like kind of like the Aizawa and Present Mike, like their dynamic, because Andrew's a sassy very silver-tongued man, but also Maurice is like he's a pretty chill guy, and and he has like a fun personality, at least like from the interactions I had with him as a player, and the stories I've read about him. And it's just interesting of like that whole nature nurture thing. It's like if they had grown up somewhere else, like in a what if situation, like where how would it have turned out?
Yeah.
Quick little pivot. So Matt, you are a screen and stage actor.
Yeah.
What's been your experience with voice acting?
Man, pretty much none whatsoever. I did a little bit of voice acting for you guys for the Lady Legacy play, and man, every time I heard it, or when I heard it at the performance, I could not help but cringe at myself, because it's like I just don't know how to bring that emotion, I guess, yet. Which I'm very excited for this challenge, but I'm also like, gosh, please don't let me be shit, you know? Like, I don't know. Voice acting, I think any voice actor, like when people ask like who's an underrated actor, I'm like literally any voice actor, because what they can bring to the table, like doing so much, bringing so much emotion, and like being able to like paint a picture with just line delivery is so crazy good to me. And it's something that I want to be good at, because I want to be good at any form of acting, but I mean, I got none, so I'm looking at you guys to be my coaches here, you know?
Well, and to be fair, you did the voice of Justin, just Justin, he has no last name, but Aurora Remington's father. And that was a very stoic character anyway, so like it's not like you had we didn't give you like a lot to like, there wasn't a range of it. It's like you are an angel that is basically becoming a fallen angel.
Yeah.
Not really, but like loses his wings.
I think that's what was like so difficult about, I guess, delivering lines, is like, all right, how can I like deliver lines without like feeling like the character not having any like worldly like burdens?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, man, that's like being human. So I was like, greetings. I was like, just listening to it back, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, it's weird. I'm hard on myself, but I'm like, damn it.
We also are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, I'm very excited. It was fun hearing your audition and being like, yes, no, yep.
I'm glad, man. I would have been like, I know you guys know being an actor, it's, you know, when you don't get the role, it's just, all right, I'm going to cry myself to sleep, move on, you know? But I was like, oh, this seems like a fun opportunity.
And to be fair, we had 1,040 auditions.
Across all the roles.
Not just for Maurice, but it's, we have the cast of 22 people that got cast from that, something like that.
Roughly.
20 something.
Yeah.
We have a handful of people from Lubbock, so local artists of where we are, but we also, I mean, we've got an Australian actor
Oh,
playing
heck yeah,
a
dude.
character, and there's a very wide range of people across not only the United States and the world that are doing voices for us, which I think is just really cool. But shout out to all the people who auditioned. Audition for us again, because there's going to be more.
Yep.
I feel like it's the way I delivered Fearsome Flame that, held
Dude.
it.
Dude, yeah.
I tell you what, I'd be listening to
mean,
those
that-
auditions like that.
That was the deciding factor on a lot of those Maurice
yeah.
auditions, was how that was delivered.
It's like, did you commit?
Yeah.
Some people did not commit, and I was like, lame.
It was fun recording that with JD, because like I got done and he was like, yeah, finally. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, these it's we're not anime voice actors, but it is like we have a lot of inspiration of anime and
yeah.
superhero stuff, and like a big thing with anime is that like they will say the move that they are doing,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
All Might will be has like names for his punches, and with Demon Slayer, they're saying the forms that they're doing whenever they're doing the sword fights and stuff.
I was going to be like Moon Knight in the comics. Random bullshit. Go.
But that's part of the style of storytelling that we're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be hard to commit, but when you commit, it's fun.
Yeah, so much fun. Like that's what's like I remember like at writers groups and stuff, like when I would bring the card scripts and I was like, man, if you
Yeah,
don't
dude.
know like these like anime tropes, or you can't embrace the cheese of these like anime moments, it's never gonna sound right. And that's what like I was looking most forward to with auditioning for this project. I was like, yeah, those anime moments, they're fun. I like screaming, and I was like, I have this video of just Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel just in the recording booth, just like powering up, and then like them getting out, be like, "Oh my gosh, my voice is fried."
dude.
I'm
No,
like,
absolutely.
"Yeah, dude, I want to be in a closet just screaming."
There's some great BTS of Cliff Chapin's performances as Connie in Attack on Titan, and as Bakugo for the English dubs for Attack on Titan.
That's
and
crazy.
My Hero.
I didn't know
and
Connie played Bakugo.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
What?
It's
A little,
great.
little
Yeah.
bald-headed homie.
Yeah.
I know. You're like, that was kind of his breakout role, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of their first big ones.
Damn.
But
Love Connie.
it is fun to see what can happen with voice.
Yeah.
And Ben's a really good coach. So
I mean, yeah, well, that's my big thing when it comes to voice acting, and this is what I like teach people when I am teaching my voice acting stuff, which I learned from Joe Zija, which is like it's all about like it's just committing to it, of like the fact of the matter is, when you're voice acting, you're like using your body is also going to help selling all of these things, like in the booth, like still doing as much as you can with however much movement you have and everything, right? But also like your voice is the thing that sells everything else that's going on, right? Like even like the animation can only assist the voice so far, right? That's the reason why most animation is like animated to the voice acting.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
And then we get in the whole world of dubbing, and then it's like, okay, cool. That's the reverse engineering challenge of like then voice acting to match the animation in that case. But in terms specifically as well with audio dramas, when it's like the sound is all that we get, and that's like that is all that you have to draw the audience attention and investment there as well, right? That's like the theater of the mind. Back in like Greek theater, they didn't have all these big set pieces and everything. They had to tell the audience what happened off stage, and so filling in those details, let the audience picture it in their mind. There's that whole thing of like one of my directors, my very first play I did, Arsenic and Old Lace. There's a scene where the character of Dr. Einstein is wandering around the room in the dark, and he is supposed to trip and fall into a window seat at some point. And so my director told me, she was like, the lights are going to be off. You can still see, but just make a bunch of noises as if you were bumping into things. Don't actually bump into things, but the noises that you make are going to, like, the audience will fill in the blanks in their head, and it'll be significantly funnier than anything that you're actually doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I used that trick. Same direction that I gave those actors. Of the audience is going to come up with any, like, it's going to be either funnier than you think it is or more horrifically violent than you could
Yes.
ever think it is.
Mhm.
So like with fight scenes, depending on what you're trying to do, the noises that you make off stage, like the best example I can think of is the hallway fight scene in Daredevil,
Mhm.
season 1, where like their one shot for that season, they're going into different rooms. You hear all the Foley and like noise that's happening. And you're like, oh, well, what just happened? And then a microwave flies through the door frame. But the most recent way I've used that was with Play That Goes Wrong. There's a wonderful windowsill that is written into that script that is the best scene partner that any actor could have, because man, the like falling in and out of a windowsill and the noises you can make with it are just so fun. Audio is cool.
Yeah.
Sound is good.
No, that's the fun thing with voice acting for me, is just being able to have that freedom of like, you set the tone, you set the bar of like where everything else gets to be.
That is a wrap on our lore drop for Maurice. Matt, do you have anything you want to shout out before we wrap up?
Yeah, guys, totally. You know, if you want to go check out Mortal Hunters, the project these two goobers helped me out with, you should totally do that. It's pretty rad sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
When I'm on screen, not as much, I guess. And then also my YouTube channel, I think it's just Matthew Lamar-27, where I post weekly long form videos and I post shorts almost every weekday. It's pretty fun. It's good time. You guys should subscribe so I can quit my day job and make content the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And we'll link those in show
In the
notes.
show notes, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for listening to this week's episode.
And remember,
Being fantastic starts with being a fan.
That's enough awkward for me. Awkward enough. Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/Lore Drop sponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.